So today we're talking about Moist Critical's leave of absence from the internet, which is actually not accurate. So what had happened is Sneako and Moist Critical had a conversation through a stream that turned into a debate, and it had to do with transgender transitioning and being under the age of 18 while doing so. And Sneako and Moist Critical got into a heated debate about it, and Sneako asked a fully loaded question. Is it okay for you to transition or one to transition being under the age of 18 as long as the parents consent to it? And essentially Moist Critical, thinking he was speaking in hyperbole, said yes, he thinks that it's okay for him to for one to transition from one gender to the other as long as the parents are involved and there's consent. So a huge debate started because of that. And then Moist Critical, not loving that interaction, decided to step away from the official podcast and the red thread, saying he wants to focus more on other content. And Twitter took that as his indefinite signing off from the internet, that he will not be doing content anymore, which is not the case. And he's going to explain it to us in just a second. But before he does, I just kind of wanted to jump in here and read what actually happened. So the popular creator announced his indefinite hiatus from the internet following his online debate with Sneako. Popular YouTube Moist Critical, known as Penguins, has announced his indefinite hiatus. The two creators were in recent stream having a heavy discussion about transgender rights, transitioning of children. Moist Critical, who strongly pushes trans rights, was met with quite a bit of backlash from the internet, from Sneako fans, and more. And just so you know, the way that the internet works is you're never right. You're going to always have half the coin not agreeing with you and the other half agreeing with you. So it doesn't matter what you say. I'm sure there'll be people talking crap to me about me in this video even. It's just how it goes. So everyone took it as Moist Critical is going to take a break from the internet, which is not the case. And I'm going to let Moist Critical jump in here and kind of say his part about it, and then I'll say mine, and then we'll just wrap it all up.
Went all over the place with a ton of different things, but the big one, and this is what most people have focused on, which was my response to his question about kids transitioning. And the way he would pose that question would be by asking if I thought it was okay if kids who want to switch their gender go to the doctor and get their dick cut off. Is it okay if a 9-year-old goes to a doctor and gets their cock cut off right then and there? And when posed with that question, I replied with yes. And I've talked about this on stream many times now, and I'll talk about it again here. I thought he was talking in hyperbole. I thought he was just exaggerating, being over the top, talking about the entire subject of transitioning. I had no idea that any living, breathing human being actually thought that that's how transitioning works.
I will say this, Moist knows way better than to think somebody's joking and make a statement like that, knowing everyone knows the joke. It's actually really hard when you make videos to make sure that everyone gets the joke that you're trying to get across. And if I were to say anything about this, it kind of reminds me of the situation with Logan Paul, where Moist has talked about Logan Paul negatively many times before, but when he saw him in person, I don't know what event he was at, he kind of backtracked a little bit and was like, it's all for the stream. And, Logan's probably thinking, what an asshole. But they were cool. He could have just not done that and been like, oh, hey, what's up, Logan? Yeah, I don't really like you, but I don't have any personal vendetta against you. It's just some of the things you do I don't love. But he didn't do that. He kind of backtracked on what he what he has said about him in the past. And also, we all know Moist to be on the right side of things at all times. So, anyways.
Where you just go into a doctor saying, I feel like switching genders, and they lay you down on the operating table and just snip your whole fucking meat off. I didn't know that that's what he actually believed. I didn't know he was speaking literally. I thought he was just referring to the entire process of transitioning and just using this over-the-top statement to encapsulate all of it. Because you literally cannot get that surgery unless you are 18. Like, you actually have to go out of your way to be that stupid on the topic than you would just spending a couple of seconds looking it up.
This will go on forever if we allow it, so we're going to stop it right there. He said his part. He thought he was speaking in hyperbole, which is cool, which is fine. You could say it however you want. But at the end of the day, I don't think either Sneaka or Moist should be speaking on these matters. Neither of these guys have kids or families, and you can have your opinions about it. But at the end of the day, I certainly wouldn't want to be one to speak on what parents should do with their children in any regard. And neither should anybody else, especially people that don't have families. They just don't know what they're talking about. Also, just all this transgender stuff, like, has nothing to do with these boys. These boys are not transgender people. And I think it's really funny how everybody's talking about transgender topics all the time as if it really applies to them. And that's really all I have to say about it all. At the end of the day, Moist will be back every single day as he always is. He's already posted multiple videos. So to clear the air, and I'm sure he's clearing the air probably quite a bit, he is not taking a hiatus. It's really just Twitter taking things out of hand and context. Also, the team of the official podcast was probably hurt by this and made a huge deal about it. And knowing putting up that the email that he had sent them would start something and they would get something from it. So it's just how it goes. You know what I mean? Nobody's your friend online, really. You know, Sneako attacking Moist Critical attacking Sneako. All of it's a bunch of rhetoric, if you ask me. But what do you guys think?